The doll under the briar rose bush. There was once a girl, and her name was Beat. On her birthday her father had given her a beautiful straw hat, her mother had given her a pair of yellow shoes and the daintiest white dress, but her old aunt had given her the very best present of all. It was a doll, with a sweet face and dark brown curls. Oh, how Beat grew to love that doll, almost more than she loved Marie and Louise, and they were her best friends. One day Beat was walking in the yard with her doll in her arms. It had a name now, and they had become fast friends. She had called her Beat, her own name, and the name of her old aunt who had given her the present. It was in the early spring. There was a green spot in one corner of the yard around the old well. There stood a big willow tree with a low trunk, and it was covered with the little yellow blossoms that children call goslings. They look like goslings, too, for each little tassel has soft yellow down, and they can swim in the water. Now, Big Beat and Little Beat soon agreed that they would pick goslings from the tree and throw them into the well, so that these might have just as good a time as the big geese and goslings that were swimming about in the pond. It was really Big Beat who thought of this first, but Little Beat agreed immediately. You can't imagine how good she always was. Now, Big Beat climbed up into the willow and picked many pretty yellow goslings into her little white apron, and when she counted them she said that now they had enough, and Little Beat thought so too. Both of them ran over to the well, and Big Beat helped her little friend to get her legs firmly fixed between the logs that were around the well, so that she might sit in comfort and watch the little gosling swim about on the water. Then gosling after gosling was dropped down, and as soon as each one reached the water it seemed to become alive and it moved about. Oh, what fun! But after a while the little goslings would not swim any longer, but lay quite still. That was no fun at all, so Big Beat asked her namesake if she didn't think she might lean a little over the edge of the well and blow on them, for then she thought they might come to life again. Little Beat didn't answer, but she raised her left eyebrow, saying, "Please don't do that, dear Big Beat. Don't you remember, Mother has told us how dark it is down there in the well? Think, if you should fall in." "Oh, nonsense, just see how easy it is," said Big Beat. She leaned out over the wall and blew on the nearest ones. Yes, it helped. The goslings began to swim again, but those that were farthest away didn't move at all. "What stupid little things," said Beat, and she leaned far, far out over the edge of the well. Then her little hand slipped on the smooth log. Splash! Down she fell into the water. It was so cold, so icy cold, and it closed over her head, and took the straw hat, which she had got on her birthday, off her hair. She hadn't time to hear whether Little Beat screamed, but I'm sure she did. When Beat's head came up over the water again she grasped the round log with both her hands, but the hands were too small, and the log too wide and slippery. She couldn't hold on. Then she saw her dear friend, Little Beat, standing stiff and dumb with fright, staring at her and with her right arm stretched out to her. Big Beat hurriedly caught hold of her and Little Beat made herself as stiff as she could, and stiffer still, and stood there between the logs holding her dear friend.